The best part of the GORUCK and CARRYOLOGY KAIDAN collection is this 18-liter bullet double compartment. It is by far my favorite piece of the entire collection. I'll fight you on it. Let's get to the rest of it and talk about the entire collection that just got released now about a week ago from GORUCK and CARRYOLOGY. Let's get to it. All right, in this one, we got a lot to cover, so we're gonna just kind of dive in. What I really want to cover is, first of all, KAIDAN 3.0. How is it different than KAIDAN 1.0, KAIDAN 2.0? And then I want to walk through these individual pieces so we can see how they differ from either the standard editions or really how they stand out on their own with this new material. So more about that in a little bit. But first off, how does this KAIDAN capsule compare to KAIDAN 1.0 and KAIDAN 2.0? Well, as I've been doing, of course, I did a chart. So let's go to the chart and just review some highlights that you see here. Of course, I'll put the chart up over here so you can kind of follow along. But I kind of didn't rank them, but I put KAIDAN 1, KAIDAN 2, KAIDAN 3. First off, you'll see the material choices are different. The first two editions were VX X-Pack material. The newest is an Ultra made by Challenge Sailcloth, Ultra 400X, which is super cool. The interiors were all orange. They started in Cordura, then went to an RVX 25, and now we're into an Echo Pack EPX 200 in bright orange. Quick access pockets. Most of them had quick access pockets. The first edition, the 34-liter GR2s, did not. Accents were leather on the bigger bags, and then we went to just a standard padded handle GORUCK standard on either the bullets or, yeah, really just the bullets. Webbing, we had it in the first couple editions. The second edition didn't have any webbing anywhere. They're all slick. And then this one is all slick as well. No webbing, but they did bring the webbing back to the shoulder straps, which is a big plus in my opinion, because it allows you to put the sternum strap, which with a 210 back, which this all is, something you're going to want because it's kind of slick. Quick access pockets, no rain flaps for any of those. Slash pockets, we had rain flaps on some things but not others, but bottom line now is there's nothing. Everything has no rain flaps, everything's aqua guard, super cool. One thing I did notice, and that is the two bigger bags and the smaller items have slightly different aqua guard zippers. They both all open awesomely. The ones over here are a little more matte than the GR2, GR31 aqua guard zippers. Something to think about. Main compartment pockets. What I'm talking about there is on the GR2s, the main compartment, on the front side of that main compartment, they just had a big flat area. On the GR2 here, we do have the pockets that you see on a normal GR2. So that's pretty cool. Glad they're back. Again, 34-liter GR2s on KAIDAN 1, KAIDAN 2. This edition brings the 26-liter GR2, no 34-liter GR2, but we also now have GR1s. Bullets. First two KAIDANs were a 15-liter bullet. Now we have a double compartment 18-liter, almost said 16, 18-liter bullet, which, as I've shown in a couple of my previous videos, is a lot bigger than 18 liters. But it's a double compartment, sort of a GR2 style, and it's awesome. One of my favorite bags. Probably my favorite of this entire capsule. Colors, we were straight black in KAIDAN 1. KAIDAN 2, we had black, olive, coyote, and orange. And then now we're just in this ultra material. It's all the same, ultra black. We get down to bottom handles. We had them on the bigger bags. We didn't have them on bullets, and now we have them on, including this 21-liter GR1, which some people don't like. I actually have not that much of a problem getting the GR1s to stay in that bottom handle, but the GR2, for whatever reason, maybe it's just the way the bottom is built, it's just having a lot of trouble. It's actually got a little kickstand in there, helping it stand right now. So that's what it is. Prices I put there just so you can kind of see where prices were. Now, what's very unique mostly about this one is the fact that we have just a really kind of a whole different mix. We do have GR2s, but we have a 26 liter. We added GR1s, which is mostly a GRXC series kind of thing. We added a kit bag, and then we brought in a shadow pocket, which the KAIDAN 1, KAIDAN 2 had a GR2 sized padded field pocket. This is a shadow pocket, which is just the simpler version, and there's really no organization in this thing at all. And then we had a bullet, but we have the new double compartment layout. So no smaller 15 liter, very packable bullet like we had in the first two KAIDANs. We have this more of its own independent bag kind of thing. It's not very packable, I would say, in terms of being able to put this in something else. I mean, the first KAIDAN editions, you could take that bullet, compress it, and put it in somewhere, multiple places actually, in a 34 liter GR2. Not happening here with this bag into the 26 liter GR2, but I digress. That said, let's dive into it, talk about just KAIDAN 3 so we can learn a little bit about how this was all done. Now, first of all, these are Dyneema bags. Not Dyneema like GRXC1. These are Dyneema. It's more the material is now produced in strands and then woven into this material, then backed. So different, very strong, very durable. I'm not really sure how it will patina over time, but it is essentially an indestructible build for all these pieces. So you have them, you're probably gonna have them forever. And really they're backed by scars, right? So something does happen, you can send them back to GORUCK and they are going to repair anything that happens to this bag, which is fantastic. So I've already talked a lot about the GR1 in my first video. Put a link over here, so if you want to go back and look about that one compared to the GRXC1, GRXC2, that was pretty cool and fun. But, and again, still an awesome bag. So we'll focus on these things. We'll kind of go in a different order. Actually, before I do that, these two pieces, the GR2 and the GR1, were released on day one of the drop. These were ultra black or whatever, and then we had a blaze category for these pieces. So kind of weird. I'm not sure why we did it that way, except that these pieces, ultra black, have black poles. These have orange poles. It's really the only thing you can tell visually to separate them, besides they're different bags, different sizes. And then as I described, the zippers are slightly different from the GR1, GR2, and the other pieces. Now, the other thing to consider is, if you dive into the details, these are USA made bags, and these were made in Vietnam. That may be important to you. It's not important to me. And honestly, as I've seen in the build and feel of these bags, you really can't tell the difference, except the fact that I noticed the zippers. But that's very, very minor. The functionality is all fantastic. And then the orange is a personal preference. Remove them, put black ones on if you didn't like it. But other than that, fantastic builds across the way, but that's just kind of how they were differentiated. Since we're talking about the days and how they were dropped, there was a little bit about patches. All of your bags are going to have patches. In fact, they're all going to have leather patches. But if you were the first 250 on day one, you got a metal version of this patch, which is cool. I have this on my GR1. If you were the first 250 on day two, you got a metal version of the day two patch, which these are the same KAIDAN patches we had before, the ones that were on the GR2 and the Bullet Rock. So same patches, brought them back, but because this is the third edition, they made them metal, which is really, really cool. I love that touch. I was not one of the first 250 on day two to get a metal patch. But good news, I found someone in the Carryology Facebook group, also a viewer of this channel, is willing to trade, not this patch, my metal one of my metal versions of this bag for the metal version of the day two patch, which I'm super excited to get. All right, so that's kind of some backstory on this and about the different days, etc., blah, blah, blah. Diving into the pieces, we'll start with this GR2, which is the standard layout that we have for a GR2 26 liter. This is a very nice size, and as I showed you in a size video, this is the same height as the 21 liter GR1, just adds the capacity for a 26 liter. But it has the same things that we had on the GR1 in my other video. We have webbing here, ultra, we have 210 back panel inside the straps, we have AquaGuard zippers everywhere, no rain flaps, top pockets, the whole 9 yard, with this EPX 200 on the inside, which is bright and awesome and fantastic. Leather handles on the bigger bags, both the top and the bottom. Now, one thing that I'm not super keen on is that this is just sewn to the bottom of the bag. We don't have sort of the anchor plate that we have on the top, so just something to consider. I like having the handles in these bags. They just feel nice. I will use it a ton when I'm putting it in different areas. This stand thing is not really that big a deal to me because I don't just stand the bag typically. I do note it, mostly because people always bring it up and they ask me about it. So anyway, what's super cool again on this design is the bright orange on the inside. Super nice, again, made in the USA on the tag. The sewn in pocket that you have in a GR2. Big enough for a fully decked out Cap 1 from Evergoods. And it's all the same material, this EPX 200 and this bright orange. Multiple pockets, just kind of the same that you would get from a GR2 anywhere else, which is super nice. Again, AquaGuard zippers are fantastic. They definitely feel a lot like they are on the GR1. Super smooth, nothing like the VX21 GORUCK bags they produced that had those super stiff zippers. These are not the same, at least in my builds. Now, what I was trying to explain earlier, when we're talking about the differences, the first two Kaidans on the main compartment had just a flat panel here. They didn't have this pocket, they just had sewn in material. Now we get the pocket that comes in a standard GR2, so like it that we have the full functionality of a GR2 with all the pockets. All right, so that's GR2. Again, black, all black pulls, super nice, super great. Initially wasn't really sure what I was gonna do with this one, but it's definitely a keeper just because my only other GR2 is my waxed canvas camo, waxed woodland camo one, which is also very cool. Just like this thing, man. This is indestructible material. Super cool. That's the GR2. Let's just knock this bad Johnny out of the way. This is the shadow pocket. Very small. It's about the same size as a GR1 field pocket. Bright orange on the inside, and that's it. It's medium size, bright orange, not gonna lose stuff. Not padded, there's no zip-in pockets that we have on a field pocket. There's no webbing in the back to attach it anywhere. It's just a simple grab-and-go pouch to put some stuff in there and just stow it wherever you want. It's all this ultra material, which is super nice. Super cool. Like it. Next up is this kit bag. Now, in a little bit, we'll talk about weights. Overall, most of these bags are lighter than their regular either 1000D versions or definitely versions of the Heritage. However, this one is the exception, mostly because we have a pocket at the bottom, which is a shoe pocket. Now, this zipper doesn't go all the way around. It kind of goes 3 sides and a little bit more. And then you got this big open area. Got the EPX 200 in there. It's not like the gym bag that had this big area and all this other material. This has got a little bit of material. Put your shoes in here, standard pair of running shoes, and just keep them at the bottom. And it just keeps things separated and on the bottom of the bag. And it doesn't really, I mean, obviously it does stick up a little bit. You can see a little bit of a bulge on the bottom, but it's nothing terrible. And then you just pack the rest of this kit bag normally. This is the 2.0 variant. So we got this front, not a laptop area. This one, it's not really any more or less elevated than the previous ones. But this is a kit bag 2.0 because it has that front pocket, which is super nice. Now these don't ever open up full like other bags, so you kind of have to work your way into it. But again, 2 zip pockets on the outside, a nice little flat pocket on the inside. It's just nice. Now, some other things that they added. First of all, they came with the shoulder straps, which are cool. These are slick. So like my complaint on the normal one is they're a little slick on your shoulder, they kind of slide off. That's what's going to happen here, but it is the Ultra, so they're definitely durable. The fact that they came with a shoulder strap is a definite plus. They could have done without it. But this is another thing that I like that they did. Nice little strap keeper. So it's sewn into one side, you put the straps together, it's got the standard Velcro, boom, now your straps are together. On the standard kit bags, in fact all of them, none of them have that thing. So big plus on this kit bag. In fact, the one thing I don't like about this is it kind of, you kind of see this area, maybe, kind of gives it a weird little look. But to be honest, now that I have it and when I'm using it, it just adds something that the others don't have. I love it. And I think because of its indestructible nature, it's going to be a keeper. So there you go. Kit bag. Kit bag. So awesome. We'll leave that up here for now. And side pockets, didn't say anything about that. Just standard kit bag, but with some definite pluses. Now here we are. This is, as I said, probably my favorite piece of the whole collection. This is the double compartment 18 liter. Now, before, when I did my bullet video, I used this 16 liter double compartment. It's the ripstop material. There they are side by side. Ripstop versus Ultra. But this size is perfect for me in most cases. Now this one's just a little bit taller and adds a ton of capacity. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit. But this is just a bigger bag. Not so bullety, it's more just a different way to configure a GR1 in my opinion. In fact, as I'll show you, the math shows this is bigger than a 21 liter GR1. And it feels that way when you pack it out. But this one's already decked out for work. So if you're, flying around this week, you might see me. What I do like about this compared to the 16 liter is my iPad will fit in here a little easier. I don't have to fight the zipper because it fits in the regular size, medium size iPad fits in here nicely in this front pocket. Super cool. Now the front area, and what makes these super awesome, if you haven't seen them yet, is the fact that it's like a little GR2. So we have this sewn in pocket, which is nice. It's all this bright orange. The rest of this is kind of the same. It's mostly it's just a mini GR2. I can take all my stuff. But I also loved top pocket, of course, in the special edition bag. The regular 16 liter and 18 liter ripstop also has the top pocket. So that's one thing, I said it in my original video. Super cool. We also have the stretchy pocket that is super awesome of the original editions. We have that here. Now, I just kind of have this kind of jammed full, ready to go to work, headsets and everything. But what I didn't do yet is utilize this webbing. And what's gonna happen here is this GR1 field pocket is gonna be mounted in here. And yes, it impacts this top pocket a little bit, but what it does is allows me to keep my headset or some other camera gear up there and still use all this other space. And what I expected, and it bears out true, is that in the 16 liter, it fits the GR2 field pocket in the bottom, a water bottle on its side. That's how I get around where do you put a water bottle. But there's just a little bit of a gap in here, which isn't gonna be a big deal. I'll have a little extra room for some stuff, but that's just the difference between 16 and 18. That's why 16 is perfect for this setup for me for everyday carry, but we're gonna use this like this for the next couple days just to see how it works. I will do all that later. But it is not standing kind of like I wanted it to. I know when I did my video with it's not falling over, but it's just not standing all that great. All right. Another thing that is cool, it was a question for me, was were they going to put the lumbar pad on here? Yes, lumbar pad. So really it's no different except that it's the Ultra material and it's got AquaGuard zippers. So it's just definitely, this is the one thing when I saw they were going to come out with this whole situation, this is the piece that I was most excited for. And the kit bag is surprisingly awesome. Wasn't expecting that to be as nice as it is. I don't know why. I should have known. I should have known. All right, a couple random topics here, and then we'll get to your questions. And I wrote them all down so I didn't mess it up. Materials. Let's talk about materials. And the material is the same as the Dyneema, and I didn't write it in my notebook. I should have done that, but it's ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. Ultra high molecular weight polyethylene, and that's that's basically the Dyneema material. Again, the other Dyneema bag, they take the fibers and they spread them on a backing. This actually takes the fibers into strands and then woven into material, and then so it is in theory a little bit stronger Again, I'm not a materials guy, so I couldn't really tell you how much. I can tell you that the abrasion cycles is 8,800, which is pretty high compared to other bags that I've seen in this class. What else did I want to tell you? Patches I've talked about. I'm not going to talk about the controversy about the patches. That's just, to me, you could complain about it. It's nice to complain about things, and the patches are, I wish they would have handled it slightly different. I'm not going to get into the details, but to me, it's more about the bag than it is the patch. I know we get a little crazy about the patches, and of course I did trade to get the metal version of the day 2 patch, but at the end of the day, had it not worked out, great. The bags are really what it's all about. The bag is the vessel, gets you on your way, takes you where you want to go, and just gets you there, takes your stuff. The patch is just part of the whole thing. So if you got these just to get a metal patch and you didn't get it, well, I'm sorry, it's about the bag. It's about the bag. You could disagree with me, and that's fine. All right, let's talk a little bit about weights. And really, I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but I can tell you, I'll put up a chart here about the weights. And really, when I weighed these bags, they all, again, across the board, end up being lighter than their standard editions. Like, for instance, the GR1 is almost a pound lighter than the waxed canvas, and is definitely just slightly more lightweight compared to 1000D. That's fine. The GR2 26 liter is, again, a significant weight savings from, and these are by my scale, the 26 liter Ultra compared to the wax canvas. So it is a lot different. The kit bag is not lighter, it's heavier. Why? Because we have that bottom compartment, more material, and again, not tremendously heavier, it's just a little bit heavier than a standard or even waxed canvas edition. This 18 liter is slightly heavier, not dramatically. So the difference between the Ultra and the Ripstop, not a ton. So just putting that out there, it's about the same. Size differences, I'll just put the chart up here so we can look at it. And again, I'm comparing a GR1 21 liter. So basically comparing this bag to that bag. And when you do it, you look at the dimensions that are listed, which I agree with, that you get. This is only a 19 liter bag, and this is a 25 liter bag. 6 liter difference based off of the height, width, and depth of the bag. Now, that's not exactly apples to apples, but it is just shows you that this is not just a little improved 15 liter bullet with another compartment. It is way bigger than you think, and it'll definitely pack out differently. Again, go back to my size video that I did a little bit ago. I'll post a link here, but it's just, there was a lot of differences that I uncovered when I measured and weighed and actually stuffed stuff in some of those bags. So there you go. That's sizes. Let's talk about some of your questions, and then I've got a little tidbit here for you for how to pick these up in the future. Answering some of your questions. Some of these questions came out in the last video when I did, and most of them did, but let's talk about some of the other things. So how are the zippers? I'll talk about those here. All the zippers feel the same regardless of they came from USA or Vietnam. They are slightly different, a little more matte than the Vietnam AquaGuard style zippers, but they all flow very nicely. Nothing like the GR1, the ones they had from the VX21 category. Bottom handle. So the bottom handles are useful. I've already kind of talked about it, but like I said, in the GR2 26 liter, I'm having a little more trouble with that standing. Your experience might be different. And really it comes down to how much you're packing. Is it heavy stuff at the bottom? That kind of thing. GR2 Ultra versus GR2 Dyneema, which is going to be better for the long run? I don't know. They're both tremendously durable materials. It's going to come down to personal preference on which one works for you and how it looks. And honestly, they're both going to live probably forever. Is the material better than Dyneema? It's heavier, so I don't see how it would be. As I've already indicated, and I'm not going to do a direct comparison to Dyneema, I've kind of already said a little bit about it, and this is in theory a stronger material just because it is Dyneema, woven into strands and then into materials, and so it's just in theory going to be a more abrasion resistant and puncture resistant in theory than straight Dyneema. But again, I'm not the expert. This is a good question. Do you think the Carryology bags are getting repetitive, or are they do they need more innovation? So it's kind of a touchy subject, right? But this capsule, so KAIDAN 2.0, well, KAIDAN 3.0, the way they innovated was they brought in different pieces and then expanded on some of the features, right? So there's a lot of newness in this GORUCK Carryology collaboration we've seen in previous editions, just bringing different pieces, expanding on what they've already done. Now, what are they going to do after this? I'm not really sure. They've found new ways to breathe new life into these pieces in a very limited release. And honestly, the fact that they sell out in seconds in some cases, minutes in others, and hours in the others, I don't think that the demand has gone down. I think they probably didn't have as much of the bags as they wanted. But again, if it sells out so quickly, I mean, my opinion, they are bringing enough innovation into these pieces. Definitely when you look at some of the unicorn pieces, some other things, I think Carryology is definitely continuing to set a high bar with whoever they're working with. So there you go. Those are some of your questions. Again, a lot were asked and answered in the previous video, the GR1 focused video. So what do you think? Did you get it? Did you get the patches? Do you like the patches? Do you love the patches? I think these are fantastic. And now here's a little tip. And if you made it through this part of the video, then congratulations, because I'm going to reward you by telling you that if you didn't get a chance to pick this up on drop day, some more are going to be released through Huckberry. I'm expecting mid-January, so definitely follow me on social media. I'll let you know when I know more about what exact date, but mid-January I'm told to expect a Huckberry release of the KAIDAN 3.0 collection, which is super exciting because that just means that after you've watched this video and you've seen some of these features, you've seen how they look and how they wear, and definitely by then I will have some more experience with these bags as I put more miles on them. You'll have an opportunity to pick some up. And again, I don't know what capacity they're going to have. I don't know how many they're going to have. It's probably going to be less than what the GORUCK main drop is. So either way, stay tuned for more. We'll see what happens at Huckberry. And with that, that's KAIDAN 3.0. Thanks for watching. Send me more questions about bags that you want to see on the wall, down from the wall, maybe used again. I don't know. I got a lot of things planned for 2024. We're almost there. I can't believe this year's gone by in a blur. Looking forward to a lot of new things happening, including a Berserker GRX-C3, which I don't even know what that's going to be like, but I'm excited to see it. So with that, get outside. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Let's get right to the KAIDAN collection. This is it. You've waited for it. So just getting in the mud. Let's get to it. From GORUCK and Carryology. It's like they put out a notice. I'm filming. Let's fly by. Again, funkiness at the bottom of the bullet, or funkiness. Blah, blah, blah. And see you in the next video. Like, subscribe, do all that. Appreciate it. Thanks. See you.